Hey everyone, welcome back to the Poplar Report. We got Watchman updates coming from all over the world, as well as a number of news items that you need to be paying attention to as well. We're going to talk about how coal is coming back to the United States. We're going to be talking about the impact of the Los Angeles fires on food out west. There are a lot of warehouses that got burned, and the supply chain is all messed up. We're going to be talking about other things like how long can you really truly store peanut butter? A Watchman gives their report on practical implications of that and in practice what they've done and what they've seen. And it's important for us to be sharing information with each other so that we can get through the hard times coming. Let's jump right into it. Welcome to the Poplar Report. I'm Steve Poplar. I'm an accountant by trade. And these are your updates that you guys are sharing from all over. If you have something to share, make sure you use the word update somewhere in your comment and make sure you give us some sort of geographical location. Before we dive in, we do want to thank our sponsor, Genesis Gold Group. They help make these videos possible, especially these update videos, which they sponsor. They really believe what we talk about on this channel. So if you really like what we're on with this channel, then you can know that the Genesis Gold folks are right there up that same alley with us. So if you want to talk to a like-minded person about what you can do with your retirement account, and if you have questions about what you can do, Jonathan and his team would love to answer your questions and see if it's a good fit for you to move some of that over to gold, silver, or platinum. There'll be a link at the end of the video for you to find out more. All right, U.S. mortgage rates are now back above 7%, something that hasn't happened since mid-2024. Now, something's happened since mid-2024, of course, right? The Federal Reserve has started cutting interest rates. So why are interest rates on mortgages going back up when the interest rates on banks are going down? Something is breaking beneath the surface. The fact is that banks can borrow money, but they don't want to loan money. They are saying by their actions how worried they are about what's going to happen in the housing market in the very near future. So hopefully you guys are listening too, because we're going to be seeing some fireworks here according to what the banks out there are saying. Not by what they're saying with their words, but what they're doing with their actions. Doug Burgum, who is about to become the new Secretary of Energy, he was the governor of North Dakota, speaking at his confirmation hearing about why coal is access to coal and production of coal is a national security issue. He said this: "We are in an energy crisis in our country, and the first place is actually related to electricity." We've talked a lot about that on this channel, right? Electricity is at the brink. Our grid is at a point where it could go completely unstable. Gee, have you heard that from anyone recently? You have. You heard it from other channels like mine too. We're telling you the truth. The fact is that the politicians just generally don't want to tell you the truth. They want to keep pretending. We could be just months away from having skyrocketing prices for Americans. Unstable, high prices. That's the Biden legacy out there. Speaking of the Biden legacy, nearly 200 pieces of Hunter Biden's art, yes, we say that loosely, were lost in the recent LA fires when his house was burned. You know, couldn't have happened to a more appropriate person. Millions of dollars worth, or that's what it's supposedly worth, supposedly. I'm sure the insurance companies will pay out on that one. They're him and hawing about insuring people's homes and paying out in Los Angeles, but for a Biden, I'm sure it will happen. The other families, maybe not so much. Big news out of the Middle East: Israel has launched its first airstrike on an HTS troop convoy. Now, this is a big deal because HTS is the new government of Syria. Israel is supposedly happy with the new government of Syria. So this is the first time they've actually directly attacked the troops or people in the government of HTS. So now Israel has also taken hundreds of square kilometers of territory from Syria since the beginning, since the fall of the Assad government. Just keeping you up to date on what's going on over there. Stuff is continuing to happen. Of course, we have the peace deal brokered with between Israel and Hamas. We're keeping an eye on that. Celebrations on both sides. But has anything really been resolved, or did they just decide to stop shooting at each other for a while? And will it just happen again? Because that's unfortunately how the Middle East has worked for the last number of decades. Hopefully some real solutions and some real peace can be had over the next little bit. All right, we got a number of you guys chiming in. I was sharing about how K-Pods, the Keurig cup things that go into Keurig machines, were getting, seem to be getting hard to find here in Pittsburgh. And a bunch of you chimed in and said, yeah, you're seeing the same thing, that K-Cups are getting hard to find. I don't know why that is. I know coffee's having issue, but with such a high margin, they make a lot of money off each one of those pods, which is personally why I don't use them. Well, I think I might start using them in a little bit now. But, you know, yeah, there's a high markup. So usually there isn't a problem getting them. They'd rather sell you a whole bunch of K-Pods than sell you a bag of coffee. All right, Molly says, chicken almost wiped out in Statesboro, Georgia at the Aldi. Also the low supply at the Publix, too. So Publix and Aldi both having chicken issues down in Georgia. I'm hearing a bunch of you guys reporting chicken issues out there. So we're going to keep an eye on that, and we'll keep getting you the latest on that. Last Dance says Las Vegas, $8.32 for a dozen eggs. So, well, welcome Las Vegas to the $8 club. Up till now, it's been California and like New England states, and now we're starting to see South Carolina, Michigan kind of jumping in as well. It's not a good club to be in, but it is expanding. Thomas says, people in the South, we eat a lot of beans. I went to Walmart last Sunday, and there were no beans and hardly any canned goods. Also, I noticed that there were no zucchini or squash, hardly any tomatoes, and that is in Monk's Corner. Wartime Wisdom says eggs, Ann Arbor, Michigan, $7.99 a dozen. That's not quite the $8 club, but we'll give it to you. Michigan, another Michigan with the $8 club. People were discussing how hard it is on them. Glad for my many hens. The best option with the shortages out there is to be self-sufficient, right? Whenever you have these crises, people who are self-sufficient, not only do they survive, but they thrive. And people who have their own hens right now, they can write their own meal ticket, so to speak, can't they? The issue is a big one. We can't be reliant upon a system that is so unstable and one that is so antithetical to our morals and to, you know, caring for people, right? Eileen says, update, the Colonial Pipeline was shut down on Monday night to fix a problem. There is no estimate as to when it might go back online. People might want to top off their gas tanks in their cars. Now, they sent this out yesterday, but we do have an update now. The estimate is that they're supposed to have the main gasoline pipeline back operational sometime today. So the plan is that they're going to have it back operational sometime today. Things look like they're going to be kind of a big nothing burger. So this could have had a really it has nasty potential. The Colonial Pipeline is massive, and it really does feed many of the gas stations and just so much of the needs in the Northeast, as well as the I want to say Mideast, but Pennsylvania, West Virginia, all of that kind of fed by the Colonial Pipeline. It's a big deal. I know I saw this pop up when Southern Prepper 1 mentioned it. Yeah, good thing to be aware of, but looks like we're going to get past this without any significant disruptions. So obviously they can pump more gasoline through that pipeline faster than they need it. So if they get behind, there's storage tanks along the way. And so as long as they can refill those storage tanks after a little bit of a delay, there shouldn't be any disruption at the gas stations in your areas. I'll keep an eye on it, make sure that the pipeline does start operating today. If it doesn't, then I'll let you know about that. But if you're in the Northeast and you're worried about that, it looks like you probably won't have to worry about it. But like I said, we'll keep you posted on that. Creative Mess says, I just got fact-checked on Facebook. Actually, they wrote F-book. When I shared a link to a Mel Gibson interview. How is my post partially false when I just shared a link? Just a link to an interview. Something I said was interesting. It fact-checked something within that very long interview. I am livid. Are they trying to frustrate us to the point that we will leave F-book? I just have one question for you. You're still on F-book? Yeah. You know, we want to use the technology that's convenient to us, the things that make our lives better. But whenever you have the possibility or whenever you can, you know, try not to do business with and try not to associate with people that hate you, right? I say that as we're all sitting here on YouTube. So, yeah, I know it's a little hypocritical. I know it's a little bit. But YouTube provides us something that just nobody else does out there. And that's the truth. I know some people think that some other sites do offer the same kind of thing, but they don't, fundamentally. Thomas says, no distilled water for CPAP machines at major grocery store in Southern California. You'd think that Southern California wouldn't run out of distilled water. I mean, they're running out of all other kinds of water, but you'd think not that. But we are seeing supplies getting pulled from all over California to the storms. We're going to talk about that in just a moment here. But Neil says, Lafayette, Indiana. Went to Dollar General yesterday. Lots of empty shelves and everything in the store was fronted. Not just food, everything. That's, once again, Indiana. 12 dozen eggs, $5.50. No gallons of milk of any kind, only whole milk, half gallons. But I've never seen that store look so empty and hardly anything in it. Found all kinds of supplements, though, and stocked up on them. So stock up on what you can when you can, right? Crystal says, Steve, our Walmart here in West Plains, Missouri was really empty. By far worse than yours. I took pics, but can't post them here. But it's especially bad that there was absolutely zero beef. It looks apocalyptic here. Yeah, we're seeing short-term disruptions in the supply chain. We're not seeing large-scale disruptions just yet, so you're probably being impacted by weather-related stuff out there. Should get better as soon as the weather gets a little bit better or once trucks can kind of get through. So just keep persistent. Right now, if you can't get what you want right now, unless it's like eggs or mostly eggs right now, other things are being restocked and you should be able to get access to those things. But Terry says, San Diego. I confirm that food is being moved towards Los Angeles. So we'll be seeing empty shelves and sparse shelves down here. Also, beef is going up. It's true, price-wise. Peanut butter, prices are going up. Cocoa, chocolate, and coffee are either not in my store or they're low. I'm hitting all the stores, and all the stores are having problems getting eggs and other dairy items and other animal items. So stock up. That's from Terry out there in San Diego. We're definitely seeing those type of things here and there. And California is just one big piece of work right now. They're having a lot of problems here. They're having a lot of problems there. And I will address in just a moment where I am, because some of you guys are like, that's not your flag, Steve. Buckbow says, Steve, I still have 4 3-pound jars of Skippy peanut butter I bought almost 5 years ago. They are still good. Now, a lot of people will tell you peanut butter won't last more than a year. They're wrong. They'll tell you all sorts of stuff that you can't store, that you can. They say, I keep them in my basement in the dark. Temperature down there is 60 in the winter and 70 in the summer. A lot of things will store a lot longer. Really, with a lot of these things like peanut butter and oils, you're really looking at when the oil goes rancid. And the more processed it is, the more easily it is for the oils to go rancid. But if you can store it sealed without access to oxygen, and if you prevent it from getting light on it, light, temperature, and oxygen, right? These are the big things that really cause things to go rancid faster. That's why you have it in a can, no light, right? No oxygen. And as long as you keep that, and then the temperature really just keeps it, from getting weird in texture and consistency. But generally speaking, canned goods going to last generally forever. Now, some cans don't, okay? And if the can is breached in any way, then of course that will make the can unusable. But yeah, they've opened up 50-year-old cans or even older cans, and the food was fully edible because they they killed all of the bacteria inside when they sealed it. And so therefore there's nothing in there to grow. The food will slowly break down the minerals in it, but you can still eat it. This is Madam K saying, Watchman update. Steve, because of you, I have 2 cases of chocolate chips and 3 containers of Hershey's cocoa. I also have coffee. Thank you, sir, for all you do for us in Northeast Wisconsin. I'm so glad to hear when people say that they are taking the advice and they're actually watching out for themselves and their family and making sure that they have what they need, right? Good stuff out there. I'm glad a bunch of you guys are prepared for what's coming, or you're more prepared for what's coming, right? All right, so word on the street here. Where am I? I am actually in India. So I didn't really bring that up, but yeah, so I've been flew over here. I am now in Bangalore, India, and I'm in a room trying to catch up on my sleep. So I've been a little bit out of it. Some of you guys were concerned about my video being missing yesterday afternoon, but the morning video did great, and I was super, super tired and didn't have anything to talk about. So if I don't have anything to talk about with you guys, I just don't. So I almost always do have something to talk about, or I just keep reading everything and looking around until I find something that's worth talking about. But anyway, so that's kind of what's on with me. A bunch of you guys already know that I do trainings in India, training local pastors in how to lead Bible studies, how to lead their small churches, particularly pastors who don't have any training at all. If that surprises you that I am a Christian, hopefully it doesn't. But then also I am a pastor. I'm an ordained minister, and I serve as a layperson in my church. But I also do train pastors in other countries with a great, wonderful ministry. So we're working to get that ministry really firing on all cylinders here in India with our local partners. We provide resources, we provide trainings under local ministries here in India, and we may be doing that in another country shortly with me helping out with that as well. We have great ministry going on in East Africa, 250,000 pastors trained in just the last 3 years, which is pretty crazy because we don't have like a big staff or anything like that. I'm fully volunteer. So you guys who contribute money by pushing buttons and stuff like that down there, or going over to Ko-fi, which has much lower rates. You don't give Google a big cut of that. That's why I always recommend them. Any donations that I do receive, or the things that are mailed to me in the mail, all of that money goes to 21C International. So if you send it to me, I am super grateful, because then that means that you are supporting a ministry that I really care about. So I appreciate that. You notice I don't ask you guys for money directly, and anything that you do provide does go into that ministry. All right, friends, thanks so much for watching. If you want to check out another video from this channel, there's one right up here. I'll see you over there. Or if you want to get some more information from Genesis Gold, there's a link right there on the screen. Thanks so much for watching. Steve Poplar of the Poplar Report out.